5 men share the differences between penile and prostate orgasms. It's like the difference between seeing a movie in standard definition and then discovering IMAX. It's not greedy to want the most euphoric sex imaginable. As long as you're making sure your partner is having a toe-curling good time, too, then you should feel free to maximize your own pleasure, which is why it can be useful to get creative in the bedroom, either by bringing in some toys or getting your rear end involved. Anal play isn't for every man, and I understand why you might be reticent to try it. It's still a bit taboo, and it can get a little messy, but so, too, can life. Doesn't mean we stop living. But if you're down to do butt stuff, you might discover the wonders of the prostate orgasm, and it's like no penile orgasm you've ever experienced. Prostate orgasms are difficult to describe and a unique experience for every man, which is we thought it would be helpful to ask a few men who are no strangers to the experience to describe the action in their own words. What was your first prostate-induced orgasm like? Saint: I remember first hearing about it on Craigslist under seeking arrangements. It was mentioned in some random post by a guy looking for someone to come over and milk him. I didn't meet him, but it definitely sparked my curiosity and I looked it up, finding some random online story about it. I read all the tips and decided to try myself. I did it alone during a shower, taking a little shampoo and working my way up my bottom. The soap burned a bit, but I kept feeling around and playing. After my third or fourth time trying it, I finally felt the sensation of orgasm. I was 16. Eros: I first experienced my prostate orgasm in my early 20s. Coincidentally, this was my first time with someone who did sex work on the side, though I wasn't a client. She asked me if I wanted to have butt play. Since I was sexually open, I identify as sexually fluid. She set a massage table with sheets, paper towels on the side, lube, and surgical gloves. She had all the pro tools ready to go. She proceeded to work over what I never really got to access as easily. I tried many a time fingering myself in the shower to no avail, and within minutes of prostate play with a blowjob, I shot hot fire like I never had before. Mateo: the first time I realized I liked it up the butt and really hit my prostate myself was when I was 16. I got my first vibrator and really went to town on my own ass. Schiefer: penile orgasms are amazing, but there's nothing like a prostate orgasm. It's more than just the oh yeah. It's that toe-curling, internal, get my spot, own me, make my head go back, eye roll sensation that only some folks know how to give you. Luckily, I know how to love my body just right when they have no clue what they're doing. Eros: yes, a prostate orgasm is extremely different than a pure ejaculatory orgasm. That first time I felt a huge rush to my face, my body got so warm and my heart raced like crazy. I felt like I was coming from the inside out and that a volcano was erupting. If an ejaculation feels like a 10, this was a 20. Yes, it was double the intensity. Weston: I've had multiple prostate orgasms with significantly shorter refractory periods than with penile orgasms. I may be misremembering, but prostate orgasms before ejaculatory orgasms make the latter much more powerful. When I have anal stimulation while coming, those orgasms always feel more full body. Mateo: it's almost uncontrollable. I've realized how strange a position I am in once I'm finished, and have even had to breathe myself out of a muscle spasm because of how hard it hits. Do you also ejaculate when you have a prostate-induced orgasm? Saint: many times when I'm enjoying prostate stimulation it's difficult to keep an erection. I get lost in the waves of pleasure and just lose it. Other times, I can maintain my erection and will masturbate while being penetrated or stimulated. I can time my prostate orgasm with my penile one, causing a massive surge of energy and triggering dopamine to leak in my brain. Eros: I practice tantra and can have multiple body orgasms that aren't ejaculatory, and prostate play can get me to that state. Now if I want to ejaculate at the same time, at my age, this is the only time I really shoot like I did in my teen years. What would you tell men who are opposed to having things put in their rear end? Saint, if you have people in your life questioning your sexuality because you have a desire to experience one of the most powerful orgasms your body can produce, get rid of them. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. You deserve to enjoy the pleasure of prostate stimulation and shouldn't let anyone limit your access to self-pleasure. Men often place mental blocks on their sexuality, only allowing themselves to experience a rigid framework of stimulation. They are afraid to explore, and because of this they miss out on enjoying their bodies fully. Eros, I teach a pegging 101 and a multi-orgasmic male classes for both my groups, Pagan's Paradise and Daddy Retreat. In those events I always try to address the prostate owners that are hesitant with two simple questions: do you like a good orgasm or an amazing one? Do you think G-spot owners ignore their spot? The answers are usually clear to both those questions. If pleasure is the goal, one should seek it out with no restrictions, no reason to ignore such a pleasure trove.